My father, Peepa, loved to tell stories, and Evie and I loved to listen to his stories. He told us stories, particularly of life in Russia and of his coming to America and his experiences during that time. And we would listen with great interest because he put so much of himself into them. However, sometimes his memory got away with him. So let me tell you a couple instances. When he was on board ship crossing the Atlantic and planning to disembark, I guess, at Philadelphia, he was told that he needed $25 in his pocket before he could enter America. That was one of the anti-immigration laws that Congress passed at that time. He didn't have a dime in his pocket, of course, and he became extremely anxious. On board, he had met a gypsy family, and they had become great friends. When the gypsy father said to him, "What are you upset about?" he said, "I need $25. They won't let me into the country." The gypsy said to him, "That's all right. Here's $25. Dad said, "How can I pay you back?" The gypsy said, "Don't worry. It's a gift." Many years later, when Dad had a shoe store in Aliquippa, and it was early morning, and he was sweeping out the sidewalk, when he looked up, and there was a horse and wagon with a gypsy family in it. And he recognized the head of the family. They embraced, talked a while about their experiences, and Dad said, "I want to give you your money back." The gypsy said, "It was a gift. Enjoy." And Dad was so thankful. Now, there's another version of that. It's in Dad's oral biography. He came on the same ship, Prince Oscar. They landed, and the immigration officer at Philadelphia said, "You need $25 to land." And Dad said, "I don't have $25. I don't have a penny in my pocket." The immigration officer said, "I'm sorry. You'll have to go back. We're going to put you on a small island near Philadelphia, and when the next boat is going back, you'll go back eventually to your home in Russia." Dad was so upset, depressed, anxious, so unhappy. It means he wasn't going to become an American. He knew his family was disappointed in him because they expected him to be an American and be somebody. While he was sitting there and thinking over his troubled situation, he was approached by a man. The man was wearing a blue jacket and had a series of brass buttons on each side. The man spoke to him in Yiddish, which surprised Dad. And the man said, "Why are you sitting here?" Dad explained to him that he didn't have the $25 to get into the country. The man reached in his pocket, took out $25 and gave it to Dad. Dad then learned the man was from highest Hebrew Immigration Aid Society. And he was the man who gave the money so Dad could come into the country. A different version than from what Dad told us before. Then there was another event. When Dad came into Philadelphia on the boat, the immigration officer said, "What is your name?" Dad said, "Hillel Yakovlevich." The immigration officer said, "That's too long. You have to have a shorter name if you want to come to America." Dad said, "Oh, my brother is in America, and his name is Louis Jackson." So the immigration officer said, "Well, your name is now Harry Jackson." Immigration officers were allowed to do that those days. There's another version that Dad relates in his oral biography. He says he came to America and the immigration officer let him go through with the name Hillel Yakovlevich. Dad then became part of the Immigrant Society in America. The immigrants got together and they wanted to become Americanized as quickly as possible. They didn't want to be called greenhorns. So they collected in groups they called societies. There they spoke poetry, debated, learned American songs, put on plays, and gradually learned more and more about America, but how to speak American. One day, when he went to join the group for a meeting, they announced to him, "We've changed your name." He said, "You did what?" They said, "Well, we got together and we decided that's a terrible long name. We didn't like it. So we've changed it." Everybody agreed. "Your name isn't Hillel Yakovlevich. You're now Harry Jackson." Dad said he didn't know how to react. All the rest of them had decided. How could he stand up to them with what they wanted to do? They were only doing it to help him, they said. Besides, the name meant something. It was a part of his father and his grandfather, and he wanted to keep that. So he kept the name Hillel Tzvi in Hebrew, which he used wherever necessary. But that's how he remembers his name being changed. It's different from the first version. Memories are funny.